young man that, despite the odds, has made a very long way. Sometimes it's not how good you are, but how bad you want it. Nick Hanson, this mixed martial arts marvel, has wanted it bad ever since he can remember.
I have a lot of respect for him.
Nick is no ordinary fighter. Hiding inside his boxing glove is a birth defect, one that has never held him back.
The type of courage that he has is incredible.
Courage he began accumulating as a little boy. Having only one usable hand did not stop Nick from playing football, baseball, or basketball. In fact, having one hand has kept him from doing very little, including mixed martial arts.
It would be like downhill skiing with one leg. Fighting with one hand is a huge disadvantage.
Nick's coach, Jim Clark, runs Valhalla Combat Sports, a mixed martial arts studio in Dayton, Minnesota. Nick and Jim Clark met 2 years ago.
My fighter had beaten him, and he wanted to come and train with us then. Also, to work on his hands to get his boxing better.
And get better he did.
And that's the thing that we've helped him kind of correct a little bit, is that he wasn't throwing that hand, because I don't know if he wasn't taping it correctly or whatever, but he wasn't throwing it.
Today, Nick no longer fights with just one hand. He now fights with both hands and with a lot of heart.
A lot of people, a very small percentage of the people on the planet have the courage to get in that cage to fight anyway, able-bodied. So he gets in there with one hand and fights people that have two hands.
This fighter has risen above his disability, and just like the shirt on his back reads, he truly believes having 10 fingers is truly overrated. And Nick joins us now in the studio. You just had a chance to see him. We're going to meet him now. You talked about that shirt. Look what you got on.
Yes, sir.
10 fingers.
Definitely overrated.
Overrated. You know, at some point along the line, you said, I want to be a fighter.
Yep.
Why a fighter?
Well, originally the first sport I fell in love with was football. And I had dreams of making it to the NFL, but obviously that didn't work out, and I've always been a fighter at heart. And I just grew up watching boxing, and I grew up with local fighters here in the scene, in the boxing scene, and I just wanted to do it.
So I'm curious, who instilled that in you? I mean, is this something your parents encouraged you to do? Did you want to do it? Do you have brothers and sisters who said, you know, this is what you need to do?
Well, I think it's a little bit of everything. Everybody noticed that I was a fighter. I always stuck up for what I believed in. And then it's my mom and dad, they were both fighters. You know, they were two of the toughest people I've ever known.
Now, when you see mixed martial arts, and if a lot of people, I know you have, because we see UFC and various other things here on Fox, oftentimes on Saturday nights, but to go into a cage like that with another guy who's just wailing on you like that, I mean, it takes a lot of training, it takes a lot of skill too.
Well, right now I'm at a point where I don't look at it as a fight. I look at it as a sport, and it's a chess match. You can't go in there and fight with anger, and you know, I've done that for my first 4 fights. I just wanted to go in there and just hit the guy really hard. That's really all I wanted to do, but now I go in there and I'm calm as can be, as you can see in the fight, and I feel comfortable there.
Now, what kind of feedback do you get from other fighters that you're performing against?
You know, in the local scene, I feel like everybody roots for me, and I'm surrounded by a great group of people in here in Minnesota, and I mean, they all support me. You should see me on Facebook. Everybody roots for me, and it's truly amazing. Do you feel different than any of those other fighters, and do they treat you differently in the ring? You know, they don't really treat me differently, especially when, you know, you're getting punched in the face. You gotta fight back. So there's no...
There's strong motivation
right
there, isn't there?
Exactly.
Now, I understand that you've won the last 2 major fights that you've been in.
Yeah.
And we've got some video of that. Let's talk about it as we see some of this here.
Okay.
Hopefully we're going to see some of it. Maybe not. But what happened in the ring? What can you tell us about that?
Well, the guy, he came at me, and I noticed that his hands were down. I threw a kick just to kind of get started off. He then switched his stance to like a southpaw stance, and I wanted to go head level and hit him with a head kick. But by the time I thought that, he had already switched his stance back right here, and then that's when I hit him with the left hook.
And that's what won you the match, right there. And you're going to be traveling to Brazil recently, or coming up, because this is kind of the birthplace, and this is quite an honor.
Oh, it's a huge honor, and I think anybody in my situation would be a fool to pass it up. I never had any intentions on going pro, but when they gave me the offer to fly to Brazil in April, I can't pass that up. It's going to be for Start MMA. It'll be their first show, and I'll be in the main event.
Well, congratulations to you. It's going to be fun watching your career. Best wishes to you, and thanks so much.
Thanks.
Fun getting
Nice
the
to meet
chance to know you. Thanks, Nick.
Thank
Nick Hanson joining us here in the studios tonight. You bet. Well, Marina's coming up next with your full